Hi everyone, it's Sam and I'm back with another video for Lawn Fawn. Today I'm making a card using the new Halloween mice, You Autumn Know, Bubbles of Joy, Booyah, love that set, I'm using the little broom, Happy Halloween, I'm using the witch hat, the grassy borders, the stitched hillside borders, and the new Knock Knock Who's There die set. As always, we're going to start my card by coloring the images with Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. I spritzed some water onto my craft mat next to where I'm coloring, and I got my water brush nice and damp. And then I set it aside because I knew I was going to use it, but I'm not at this moment. I'm using pale orange and light carmine for the cheeks and the ears of all the mice. And I'm using dark brown, mustard, and natural beige to color all of the mice. I started by using the mustard color and coloring it just where I wanted the shadows, and then using my slightly damp water brush to pull out the color for the rest of the image. Then I went back while the image was still damp from coloring and added just a tiny little bit of the dark brown because that color spreads like wildfire. And then I used more mustard and then the natural beige to kind of bring it all, make it all together. And that's how I colored every mouse. I think these mice are so cute. And I actually thought to myself when I started the card, ooh, do I want to color them in grays, browns, a mix of both? I mean, they're witches. They could be green, pink. I mean, you could color them any colors you wanted. But I went the old standby and I used browns because they're one of my favorite color combos to use to color the mice. And I just love how cute they are. It brings them right to life. You'll also see I stamped a bunch of stars. I ended up not using those. I thought I was going to use those the entire time. And actually, part of me wants to go back and add the stars to the card. But I really didn't want to add too much busyness to the background of the card. I really wanted the images to pop and the interactive element to pop. So I didn't use the stars, but you better believe I'm keeping those and saving them for the next card. Next, I'm using Peacock blue, cobalt blue, and light blue for the witches' hats, which I was going to do the typical grays and blacks, but I thought, wouldn't it be kind of fun to have like a blue, like a very navy-ish type blue hat for these witches? Because they're mouse witches, so, let's make it whimsical, right? So navy it is, and I love this color combo. I love how the blues get so much brighter in the lighter parts of the hats, and it's just a welcome change to the gray black witch hat. Next, I'm using mustard and yellow to color the sweepy parts of the broom. That's a technical term. You can write that down. I just wanted it to have like a warm brownish tint to it. So that's why I added the yellow and the brown. And now I'm going to color with lemon yellow and yellow the moon. And I love this moon. I think it's so cute. Also, the cloud shapes are so fun and unique. I love it. I am using light gray to color in the stars. I'm barely coloring them in. And the clouds. I wanted to use gray for the stars because I knew I was going to add glitter to them, which I did add glitter to them. I just don't end up using them. And then just a little bit of light gray to add just a tiny bit of color to the clouds. And next I am going to color with dark brown and natural beige the sticks of the broomsticks. Just a quick little do. And easy peasy. I actually used 2 of those little brooms for my hidden mouse who rides a broom. Next, I'm using pink and pale orange to color in the little ribbons and the ties around the hats and brooms. And that's it. That was the coloring. And I love how unique some of the colors are, and they're so fun. Next, we're really going to get into it. I took a half sheet of white cardstock, 80 pound, and I'm folding it in half. And I am going to do some ink blending. So I'm unfolding it, and I knew I wanted the moon to have like a glow, so I'm using squeezed lemonade to add that glow. And then I'm going to build the rest of the sky from that. I'm starting with Salvaged Patina. It's the lightest kind of teal I have, so I just am going around the moon glow. Next, I'm using Peacock Feathers, which Peacock Feathers and Salvaged Patina and Uncharted Mariner are my favorite combination currently. And so that's why I used it. I am... Then, like I said, I'm using Uncharted Mariner to add the darkest blue. You can see it's kind of light here, but I go over and over and over to really bring in the saturation level of the colors. And I do add some black soot to the bottom because I really wanted like a night sky. So then I'm just going to go in with all the colors again. A little bit of Peacock Feathers, a little bit more Salvaged Patina, Uncharted Mariner, just all over. I'm also going to ink blend inside the card where I know I want the door to open. I thought I didn't have to worry about the other side of my card. As you can see, it looks not good. But I do need to worry about that. But I fixed that. I fixed that later. Okay. I fixed it in post. Next, I cut out the little T-shaped pull mechanism from the die set. I'm using the same colors to ink blend that too. I die cut that out of 110 pound cardstock because you do want a heavier cardstock for that pull tab. And lastly, we're going to ink blend some of the borders for the bottom. And the grassy border is going to have the same color as the hills. It's Pine Needles, Twisted Citron, and Mowed Lawn. And I wanted the darker color on top. Usually I do darker on the bottom, but I wanted the darker on the top because it's nighttime. It's nighttime, y'all. So I don't know. I love ink blending, and sometimes I don't line up my shadows correctly, but this was my reasoning. But again, I am not perfect. But I do love how it's like a dark on top for this particular card. And that was a lot of ink blending, and my fingers are still super inky. Let's see, what do I do next? Oh, I'm gonna die cut the door. I'm lining up the door with the top little arrow and the bottom arrow against the seam of my card. And you can see, oh, this is where I realized, shoot, I really did need to pay attention to that door. But don't worry, I fixed that. Until then, though, I am going to use the other part of the die. You want to make sure that the arrow is facing towards the door and the bottom little line lines up with the bottom of the door. Easy, super easy to line up, but that's what I was doing. And once that is cut, now you can add your little mechanism. And I'm just making sure it all fits. I'm going to fold over the T shape with and score it. Make sure it's nice and folded. Then I'm going to add some really heavy duty tape and make sure it's stick on there really good. And then I'm just going to slide in the T into the little tracks we made. Remove the release paper. Add a tiny bit of glue, just a tiny bit. You do not want this. I don't recommend using liquid glue. However, do as I say, not as I do. So I used a little glue, and then you just fold it over. You line the T shape up so that it hits the crease of the card, and fold that door over, and it works like magic. Next, I'm just going to glue and add my grass and hills. And I did use the stitch door in the die set. I ink blended it with the same colors as you can see there and attached it. So it is perfect. Now we don't have to worry about any more of that terrible ink blending showing. And I'm going to add some foam tape so I can fold this over. You don't want any really near that track mechanism because it could prohibit from sliding properly. But this ended up working fine. Next, we're going to just create the card. Lots of foam tape. This card is a tall card. Okay, I can't lie about that. The witch is popped up. Okay, there's multiple witches. Let me start over. Some of these are popped up. The moon is popped up with foam tape. Some of the images are glued down directly. Some more of the clouds are glued down directly. That little mouse sitting in the grass is glued down directly, and the mouse jumping up with a broom is popped up with foam tape. These little wisps of a cloud are attached with foam tape, and the mouse on the broom is attached directly. I then love this little guy. He's going to be our secret surprise guy. Like I said, he's got 2 brooms put together, and you want to make sure that part of the image is hidden underneath that door so it doesn't stick when you are pulling, opening and closing the door. Again, I do not recommend using liquid glue. However, that's what I used for this. My bad. Next, we're going to heat emboss the sentiment. This is some black licorice cardstock, and I'm just using some white embossing powder, and then I'm going to trim it out into a banner and attach it with foam tape to the card. And that's the card. I love how fun this is. I love the colors. Very Halloween to me, very Halloweeny. I had to do it. I had to do it, guys. And then look at this little sweet witch. Just boop, peek-a-boop. Just hello, guys. He is so cute. He is adorable, and I love him. And I hope that you guys had so much fun making this card with me. Be sure to check out the card on the Lawn Fawn blog, and have a great day. Bye.